Hello and good morning. This tutorial is aimed to people who are using low spec PCs or having trouble running Ubuntu in VMware player. So let's say you are constantly lagging or your PC is crashing during running the Ubuntu virtual machine, and you would have to do this method instead. The previous Ubuntu, you can just right click here and delete from disk. Mine is not available because I have already deleted it, but you can do it by deleting from disk by pressing this button here. Okay, so now what are low spec PC? So if you have anything any PC that has 8 gig RAM or below, so 4 gig RAM, 2 gig RAM even, but I don't think so people are using 2 gig RAM right now, but anything below, you are a low spec and you have to use this method instead. If your processor is anything below an i5 7 generation, so that is a 2017 laptop, anything older than that, you would have to use this method. And then I also recommend PCs that are made in the early of last decade, which is from 2010 to 2015 and older included. If someone is using a PC that old, please use this method instead. Okay, so for this method, we are first going to create a new virtual machine. Okay, over here we are going to install the operating system later, but you can also actually go and pick the Ubuntu file. Actually, it's not Ubuntu, it's Lubuntu. Let me just go to the place where I save my file. There you go, Lubuntu. Okay, it says here it could not detect, so we have to specify. So just click on next. It's a Linux. Okay, here if you can see, there is no option named Lubuntu. Okay, so that is fine. You just have to click back on Ubuntu 64-bit, but later you have to change the name here, Lubuntu, and then this one you can keep it the same, but I have to change since I have no space. Okay, I'm going to press on next, and finish. Okay, so now we have here the Lubuntu system. We can now press on the play button. Okay, now here we are going to choose try or install Lubuntu. Let me make this a bit bigger so that you can see. Okay, so Lubuntu, what is Lubuntu? Lubuntu is nearly the same as Ubuntu, but it's specifically made for low powered system. So Lubuntu uses a desktop environment that is known as LXDE. Okay, there are many flavors of desktop environment. Usually Ubuntu uses GNOME, but this is a bit different. So as you can see here, so you see the menu is a bit different, right? We have a Windows like start menu here instead of the sidebar that is usually in a Ubuntu system. So now we are going to install Lubuntu. So we just have to click this icon here, install Lubuntu 22.04 LTS, double click on it, and then the installer loads up, and the installer looks very similar to the Ubuntu installer. So we are just going to press on next. Okay, here it has auto detected. Okay, the number and date locale will be set to Melayu. If you want Bahasa Melayu as your system language, it's fine. On the other hand, I want it to be English, so I'm going to look for ENUS. EN_US. So ENSG, this is also fine. SG is for Singapore, but I'm looking for United States. ENUS, there we go. Yes, so it matches the system language and the dates locale matches. So we're going to press on next. Don't change anything here, press on next. Okay, we are going to press on erase disk, this one here. If you are using a rotating mechanical hard drive, you want to select swap to file. If you're using an SSD to store this, you are going to select no swap. Mine is a rotating mechanical hard drive, so I'm going to select swap to file and press on next. Okay, what is your full name? The questions from last time. So I'm just going to name it like this. Then I'm just going to say here it's VMWare. Okay, the password short, keep it short, 4 characters to 6 characters, and then tick on this login automatically without asking for the password. Press on next. Okay, then we can press on install and install now. So this installation will be done. You can view the details by pressing this button here, this button over here. This is to just view details, but it doesn't matter, it will be installed either way. So we just wait for the installation to finish, and then I will continue the video. Okay, now that it says it's all done, and we see that the restart now is ticked, so just press on done. Okay, then the system restarts for one time. Let's wait for that. Okay, when we see this message here, please remove the installation medium and then press enter. So we are going to first remove the CD. CD is over here in player, removable device here. Okay, if you see connect here and this is not ticked, it means that it has been automatically removed. So we can just press the enter button. Okay, now we have to wait for the system to boot up. It won't take long. Okay, there we are. Okay, now here we are on the LXQT desktop. Okay, if we have any update notification, we are just going to ignore for now because we are going to do it manually. Okay, so now we have to look under system tools, Q terminal. So we're going to launch this, and this terminal is actually the same as Ubuntu's terminal. So any command that you have tried there will work here. So for instance, now I'm going to issue an update for the system. So sudo -i first, the password that you set just now. See, it's the same command set. Okay, I just cleared the screen so that you can have a clear view. You don't have to do that, it doesn't matter. So let's do an apt update. Enter. You see here, even though this is Lubuntu, the update server is still Ubuntu. So they are the same system, it's just different looks and different performance. So now we can do apt install open -vm -tools, open -vm -tools -desktop -yf, enter. And now if I am to full screen, you see that the whole system behaves properly. Okay, now to look at memory consumption. Okay, let's do htop on the command line. So currently you can see without running anything, I'm barely using half a gig of RAM inside of the LXQT. Compared to Ubuntu, Ubuntu would be using around 2 gigs of RAM. So this is much more less in RAM consumption. So you can, if your PC is struggling to run Ubuntu, you can try using Lubuntu. And then another thing that I recommend is to bring out the terminal like this by going into the menu here, the bird menu, and then we press on system tools, Q terminal, right click and add to desktop, so that we'll have the shortcut here and then we can just press here execute, and we will have the terminal like so. Okay, so that concludes the tutorial for installing Lubuntu. For the next step, you have to follow the guideline, the wget command. Everything remains the same. So which means the password fix you have to follow as well. Even though it's under Ubuntu, the command line is the same. Okay, thank you everyone.